Air New Zealand flight NZ5261 from Tauranga to Wellington on Tuesday the 27th of October 2020 on an ATR72 scheduled to depart at 6:45 p.m, flight time 1 hour and 20 minutes. Today we were flying with our puppy. Dogs fly in Air New Zealand like a piece of luggage, so you need enough luggage to include your dog in a cage. They only have a certain amount of hold space for animals, so it does pay to call up and add the dog to your booking. I went to check in for my boys and then thought I'd go see a person to check in myself and the dog, but as I started on the kiosk, one of the ground crew came up super excited about the puppy. She'd looked ahead and seen that the dog was on the booking, and she had everything ready. It was so amazing. Our check-in was so quick. There's also an additional $75 charge for your puppy, which you pay at the airport once they've confirmed there's space in the hold for your dog. And the dog even gets a boarding pass. Well, not a boarding pass, a receipt, but it helps the dog to feel included, which is important. Once your dog is registered with Air New Zealand, they then know their name and a whole bunch of stuff about them, which is kind of cool. So we were all checked on, and the ground crew scanned our bag onto the plane for us. And then they took our puppy away. He travels really well, so we were pretty happy. We had a little bit of time, so we headed up to the Air New Zealand lounge. Tauranga Airport is a reasonably good size, considering it has 131 scheduled flights per week, which is just under 19 per day, or 6,812 per annum, which is a little bit down on pre-pandemic numbers, and definitely down on the 20-year projection. But that doesn't stop the terminal, completed in April 2019, having an awesome layout. Arriving and departing passengers don't actually cross paths at all. It does mean the baggage handling is split between check-in and baggage claim, but if you can manage it, it's totally worth it to remove any choke points or crossover points between inbound and outbound passengers. Nice one, Tauranga. So we head upstairs to the lounge, which is spacious and comfortable. Many of the Koru lounges at provincial airports just have pre-packaged food, so it was really nice to have such a wide selection of fresh foods at Tauranga. I did have a more substantial bunch of savoury food, but I only filmed the sweets. From our seats in the lounge, we even caught a glimpse of our plane coming in. When our flight was called, we went down from the lounge and across the terminal, and you can see here that the inbound passengers waiting for their baggage don't have to walk in the same pathway as we do when we're heading to the plane. Genius! So we line up at the gate, scan our boarding passes, and head out to our flight. As I've mentioned before, I really do like walking out to the plane over the tarmac. I really like to see the outside of the aircraft up close.
Thank you.
We shuffle down the aisle, and then I need to ask the person seated aisle if I can get into my window.
I need to touch around a little bit and then put my bag up the top, if that's okay.
Good evening everyone, from the flight deck, it's Mike London speaking. This evening's to the west, we're turning left, climbing to a cruise height of 16,000 feet. Anticipating one or two bumps along the way, but we'll dodge through some weather to try and make it as smooth as possible. We're at Wellington for arrival, nice evening there, southerly breeze, high cloud and a temperature on the ground of 11 degrees C. I'm flying us through to Wellington, flight time's just on 1 hour. As we get close to destination, I'll be in contact with the latest weather there and their estimated time of arrival. So now welcome on board and enjoy the flight.
Tauranga Airport has 4 runways, 3 of them are grass and 1 of them is asphalt. We taxied from the terminal over to runway 25 and took off towards the west. We left the gate at 6:39 p.m, 6 minutes early. According to FlightAware, we taxied for 13 minutes, didn't seem that long, and we took off at 6:52, 3 minutes ahead of schedule. After takeoff, we turned left and tracked to the south. After going around Lake Taupo, we turned slightly to the right and tracked down to Wellington. Hokey pokey, On to the snack. On this flight, we have tea, coffee, water, and a biscuit. They came around with the water quite early in the flight, and I got some. And then I got a cup of tea and a biscuit. The water was very much appreciated, but over the years I've pretty much painted myself into a corner with water, 5 out of 10. Some assembly was required for the cup of tea. I do think I handled it like a pro though. The tea was nice and strong and piping hot. I used a little bit of my water to cool it down. Good cup of tea, 7 out of 10. The biscuit was a salted caramel and milk chocolate cookie from Cookie Time. I quite like my salted caramel things quite salty, and it wasn't actually all that salty, but it was yummy. It's really good to experiment and try things out. Not sure I'd buy it from the shop though. 7 out of 10. Yep, 7 out of 10. Solid effort, Cookie Time. So the water got 5, the cup of tea, which was piping hot and strong, got a 7, and the cookie, that experimental milk chocolate and salted caramel cookie, got a 7. That averages out to 6 1/3. That feels a bit tough. I'm gonna round that to 6.5, and we'll see what happens with the plane. This plane, ZK-MVK, an ATR72, took its first flight in May 2016, making it 4.5 years old when I took this flight. It's officially had 3 owners, Mount Cook Airline, Air New Zealand Link, and now Air New Zealand. But Mount Cook and Link are both subsidiaries of Air New Zealand, so it's effectively only had 1 owner, and it's been flying with Air New Zealand livery from day 1. This plane is configured with a single cabin with 68 economy class seats. I was seated up near the front in seat 3D, which is slightly less convenient than on other planes because you board and disembark from the rear door. But I like to sit up near the front because I like to be in front of the engines. This makes it quieter and it gets a bit warmer down the back. The seat pitch, or distance between the rows, is the same throughout the entire cabin, so if the engines or the warmth don't bother you, you can sit anywhere, and at 30 inches between rows, you'll be okay for space. At 4.5 years old, this plane is pretty new and it's in great condition. Everything works and there's no rattles or squeaks. The seats are comfortable enough for an hour or so, and there's plenty of space in the overheads for full-sized carry-on. But if the flight's full and everyone brings one, only 2/3 are going to get them in the overheads. Thankfully, there's plenty of space under the seat in front if you get caught out. In the overhead panel, there's lights, air vents, and a call button. So a relatively new, tidy, and super well maintained little plane. I give this aircraft 8 out of 10. Yes. After trekking increasingly west as we came down the North Island, we took a slight left-hand turn at Porirua, and then it was a straight shot into Wellington Airport. The weather around Wellington was quite closed in, so there wasn't much to see out the window, and there were a few bumps on approach. Wellington Airport has 1 runway. We came in on 16 and taxied over to gate 18.
Evening again, folks. It's Mike London speaking. We're cruising along at 16,000 feet. Very shortly, we're beginning to descend for Wellington. Weather there for arrival is similar to described earlier. It's southerly breeze, a little bit of high cloud, and a temperature of only 11 degrees C. Nice and early this evening. We're estimating being on the ground in Wellington at 10 to 8.
Keep your seatbelts fastened until the captain has switched off the seatbelt sign. Then keep one opening the overhead lockers as open as they moved and crew pull out. It's now safe for transmitting functions on your electronic devices to be turned on. However, these devices must not be used while crossing the tarmac. Please ensure you follow the clearly marked path into the terminal building, and do take care when you disembark. Use the handrail, and if you need any extra help at all, please just ask. We hope you've had a good flight with us today. Thank you for choosing to fly with Air New Zealand. From all the team, we wish you a safe and enjoyable evening ahead and look forward to seeing you next time you choose to fly. Ka kite anō, te wā.
The last flight for this aircraft this evening, and as such, we've just got a couple of quick checks to do on the engines. If you wouldn't mind, please just remain seated till that seatbelt sign comes off. We'll be on the gate very shortly. Thank you very much.
We landed 11 minutes early at 7:48, but thanks to a 4-minute rapid taxi, we arrived at the gate 13 minutes early at 7:52. Despite being a reasonably grey Wellington evening, the weather isn't quite as bad as it looks. Although it is days like this and Airbridge is okay.
Thanks. See ya.
We disembark, cross the tarmac and into the terminal building, and then we go get our puppy from baggage claim. Let's sum up as we walk. The snack, which was water, tea and a biscuit, got 6.5. I did feel this was a little bit harsh, but sometimes life's just unfair. The plane, which is relatively new and really well maintained, got 8. That's an average of 7.25, which rounds to 7. But wait, here's our puppy. Look how happy he is. Air New Zealand's done a sterling job with our puppy. I think they get a bonus point. It's almost like I make up the rules as I go along. 8 out of 10 Air New Zealand. Awesome. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and then watch every single video we've ever made. And every one we will make. Thanks.